All right. So, uh, we are at chapter 7, as we said. This is called Jnana Vijnana Yoga. Very different um meaning altogether. He has brought out a different expression in this chapter. We'll see what it is. So, this is way of knowledge with realization, or way of knowledge with actually more than realization, it is the experience. Experience is called Vijnana. Vijnana, generally it speaks of science, but here it is a science of experiencing. We shall see what it is. After the whole gist is of Jnana Vijnana, we get wisdom because of our efforts and our spiritual practices and any type of yoga. After that, all the paths, whichever path we mentioned, bhakti or karma or jnana or a combination, usually it's a combination. So all of these, ultimately, if you remember the last verse in the previous chapter, it has to culminate, or a further progression in that path will culminate in a very sweet, pleasant emotion of bhakti. योगिनामपि सर्वेषां मद्गतेनान्तरात्मना श्रद्धावान् भजते यो मां समे युक्ततमो मतः. He ends the previous chapter there. Previous chapter was the yoga of meditation. So meditation is central core for all types of yoga actually. So whatever you do, however you reach, once you come to the final stage, it has to end in that experience of bhakti, emotion of bhakti. That emotion will come to any type of yogi, whichever path he has taken, and that actually marks the Brahma Sparsha or Brahmi Sthiti or Brahma Prapti, whatever you call it. So here he is going to differentiate a little more about Jnana Vijnana, and he is going to give us Jnana. What is that Jnana is going to give us? He is going to talk about his creation, who is he? Who is Krishna actually? Is he that Krishna who spent life in the Vrindavan playing with his gopis and all that? Is he that Krishna? Sorry, with his gopis, yeah. And is he that Krishna who did Ras Leela with his Gopika friends? Or was he that Krishna who showed the entire earth to his mother Yashoda? Who is he? Is he that handsome Krishna? Who is he? So he goes beyond that. And that's what is coming in this chapter. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Maya Saktamana Partha Yogam Yunjanmadashrayah Asamshayam Samagram Mam Yatha Jnasasi Tat Shrunu. So what he says is, Maya Sakta Manaha Partha, with the mind intent on me. Maya Sakta. Asakti is interest. So Sakta is complete involvement. Asakti means interest, but here he says Asakta, Asakta. He's been using those words. He says, Mai Asakta Manaha Partha Yogam Yunjan Mat Ashrayah. With the mind fully absorbed in me, with your mind in me, or intent on me, O son of Partha, and involved practicing yoga or completely involved in yoga. There's a difference between mind intent in me and yoga. We have seen that. And taking refuge in me. My mat ashrayaha asamshayam samagram mam yatha jnasasi tatshrunu. How you shall know me completely. Samagram. Hear that from me. Shrunu means I will tell you. In other words, you hear that from me. So what is he trying to say is, um, he wants to tell Arjuna, and through Arjuna, of course, to all of us, what is his profile actually? What is he? Truly, what is his? Who is he? Who is he? He wants to explain completely, but for that he says, you completely put your mind onto me and take refuge in me means complete surrender and continue the practice of yoga. That means anybody who does that will understand him completely. Completely surrender, full mind, entire mind engaged in him, whatever we do. Whatever we do, even if we are doing good things also, that is not enough. Yesterday I read some WhatsApp message, Ramakrishna Ashram Swamiji. Somebody said, Swamiji, I am taking care of patients in the hospital, that too charitable hospital. I'm working, I'm nursing them. Isn't that enough to be called as God Seva? He says, Swamiji says, Senior Swamiji has spoken. I'll forward that message. He says, yes, that's good. But only when your mind is fixed on God and then you carry out this work as though it is His work, then it becomes a proper spiritual practice. Otherwise, until then, until you devote completely, until you call it as His work, it will be just like any other work. No doubt, it is better than others' work. But with your mind, if you want to call it as spiritual practice, then whatever work you do, even if it is the work of highest order, you need to completely surrender and keep doing it with your mind focused on the Lord. Mai asakta manaha partha. Mai asakta manaha manas. Mind should be fully focused on me. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa says, our work should be just like a maid who comes in Indian scenario. If you have a nanny or anywhere outside, that nanny comes and takes care of the baby of the house. She knows, she completely takes care of the baby, giving her 100% commitment, fully, sincerely she does. Whether she does for money, even if she does for money, she is known to be, very affectionate. But in her mind, she knows this baby is not mine. My baby is at home. I have left my baby and my children, my family at home, and I have come here for work. Exactly, precisely the same manner, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa says, you come to this world, you are doing all this work, but this is not your final destination. It's not your final abode. Keep that in your mind. This is you are doing because you have some, something, some karma to fulfill. It's like you are doing it for the sake of something, but offer it to God and remember that your destination is not this. This is just a means, because that lady, she takes care of the baby so that she gets some money for the family. So also we need to work, but with the mind fixed on him. We need to work because we have to get purify our mind. We have to use this opportunity to grow, to evolve. And so for that, the goal should be fixed in mind. Therefore, the mind, Mai Asakta Manaha. We must keep our mind fixed on him. And we must also continue to do yoga. Fixing the mind on Krishna is also part of yoga. Apart from that, whatever he has described in the previous 6 chapters, he keeps on telling this is yoga, this is yoga. Samadarshana is yoga, Samatvam is yoga. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. And Niyatam Kuru Karmatvam. He has given so many conditions, uh, explanations or definitions of yoga in different contexts. So get engaged and comply to that definition of yoga. You keep yourself. Yoga is basically disciplined energies and concentrating, surrendering to him. And whatever you do, you have to surrender. So with that, and mat ashrayaha, take his refuge. He is a final refuge. With this, if we continue doing our work, then Krishna says, I can give you the entire knowledge. Asamshayam samagramma. Okay, without doubt, you shall know me. That means he's going to give Arjuna and all of us the knowledge about him. You can know me. Finally, the wisdom should be to understand the creator and the creation and what we are, why we are, who we are. So that is the meaning of this statement. And here he has used samagram. Samagram means completely, inexhaustible. So why, and he says, you shall without asamshayam. You can understand me completely with no doubt. One is we are completely involved. So all our ears and eyes and heart and soul, everything will be eager to listen to him. That's what he wants. Whenever we want to understand something completely, we must be having full 100% concentration. for the regular worldly knowledge. Here, it is something transcendental knowledge. So we need to surrender, we need to be with Him. And so he says, Samagram means understand the reality as it is, completely, not piecemeal. We understand little bit from somewhere, another piece from somewhere. That should not be the thing. We should understand everything completely. What is that complete knowledge is going to tell now. ज्ञानं तेहं सविज्ञानम् इदं वक्ष्याम्यशेषतः यज्ञात्वा नेह भूयोऽन्यत् ज्ञातव्यम् avashishyate. So again he says, I shall tell you, Jnanam te aham savijnanam. I will tell you knowledge along with experience. Jnanam is knowledge, Vijnanam is experience. So often we confuse this with science. Vijnana is science. But here, this is also a type of science. We shall see it is, this science is, very mesmerizing, very, very fascinating Vijnana actually. As he goes in other shlokas, we'll understand that. So he says, I shall tell you in full, asheshataha, without any, um, uh, anything remaining. I will tell you everything about theoretical knowledge along with experience. Jnanam vijnanam. Yat jnatva, knowing which, bhuyonyat jnatavyam avashishyate. Knowing this, you will not have anything to be known further. That means I am going to tell you the gist summary or jnana, the real wisdom which you need to know, which exists in this universe, knowing which you don't have to know anything else. That means you don't need to acquire any skills, or knowing that you will know everything. That's what even Swami Vivekananda used to say. Knowing that Tat Satchidananda, if you know him, then everything will be known. It appears very crystal clear to you. You will solve each and every problem because you have become the creator of the problem also. You will become the creator of the solution also. So knowing that, you will come to know, and not only knowing, experience. That is very, very. So here, what is the difference between jnana and vijnana? Jnana is knowledge, theoretical knowledge. It is about understanding the all the subjects, or just like we know the subjects at various levels. No, we understand what is happening. So, like that, understanding the subject, spiritual subject, and also applying it. Applying and implementing. Let's say Patanjali, that Tanga Yoga. So we practice that, we know that, we understand that. What is pranayama? What is yogasana? How does, we understand so many things. So in all the 6 chapters we have understood. But Vijnana is intimate experience of the divine. Intimate experience of the divine. Jnana can be obtained from any path we follow, like we have seen so far, except Raja Yoga and Bhakti Yoga, we have seen Karma Yoga and Sankhya Yoga, 2nd chapter, Sankhya Yoga, then Karma Yoga, then Dhyana Yoga. He has told all these, if you perform your actions properly, then you will purify your mind, the divine will manifest, you will get the jnana. That is what Krishna says. If you do, that is Karma Yoga. Bhakti also, he has mixed Bhakti also there. Surrender completely to me, then you will get the knowledge. So, in any type of any path you take, ultimately we should get the wisdom and understanding of the fact that this world is Maya and we are in search of absolute truth. This is not the absolute truth. This is changing. This is perishable. This is not eternal. What is eternal is Parabrahma. And our aim is to reach that there. We are supposed to go there. That is our goal. That is our destination. This is what Jnana says. He gives, of course, much more Jnana. This is what we have learned so far. There's much more deeper meaning. Vijnana is having understood that we have to experience that. So, a Jnani will be experienced, he will understand. If he takes the Jnana Marga, he will say that if you remember, aham nirvikalpo nirakara bhoto, I am not this mind, I am not this body, I am not what I am experiencing, I am not this ears, I am not the sense organs. He knows about his creation, but jnana margi, it's not me. The hand is mine, then who am I? This hand and I are different. There's something called I. So he goes in that inquisitive phase and then he learns. But when he becomes one in the end, he merges in that immense devotion to the Lord. Then he becomes a Vijnani. Then he becomes a Vijnani. This is the difference between Jnana and Vijnana. Another experience, another example, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa says, when a person climbs stairs, no, he wants to go to the terrace to have a view. So as he climbs, no, he says, this is no, I am just climbing the stairs. I am going to the terrace and then I can have the view of the city. I'll go up to the topmost floor in the apartment. As he climbs the stairs, he thinks the stair is just a stair. It's not, I need to go there. But when he goes there, when he sees everything so beautifully, this is what is described by Sri Ramakrishna. And then when he comes back from that terrace, when he comes back from the terrace, he becomes so wise, wiser than what he initially he knew. These steps are going to lead me to the terrace. This is the knowledge he has. And he knows that when he goes through the terrace, he has a beautiful view of everything that is there around, which is not there on the staircase, which is not there where I am now. So I need to go. Try to understand this. It is related to our evolution. So I need to go there and then I will have a beautiful, that is the place I have to go. But then once he sees that and he understands that everything, including the stairs, are part of that view, isn't it? When you stand there, you can see your stairs, you can see everything. That means all the stairs are also there. The everything related, I mean everything around in the nature, whatever scenery he is observing, and the stairs, everything is one. That means what I have used to reach that point is also part of that view, is also one. I reached that terrace. The terrace is also part of the entire view, entire nature. The staircase also was there, and everything around also was there. That means whatever I have used to climb that also is part of the entire system. There is no difference between the terrace and this, but that he comes to know only when he goes there. In other words, a Vijnani, actually it's explained more in the next this one. He feels that okay, this neti, this is all Maya, this is all worldly, people are not so good, but somehow I have to survive because I'm reaching the spiritual goal. But once you reach that goal, a jnani realizes, a vijnani experiences beyond that. He feels, all right, I came, I experienced the bliss, but on the way, what all happened to me is also part of his creation. That also, the Prakriti, the Maya, exactly that those words is going to use now. They were also part of. So Vijnani is one step above Jnani who has experienced the oneness. With bhakti, of course, and they underline this. Swami Ranganathananji underlines that emotion of bhakti cannot be undermined in the emotional state of a Vijnani. Vijnani experiences with great love that union with everybody, and the differences are there. But these were the very things which helped me to reach here. So therefore, they are part and parcel of the entire system. But there is a difference. What is the difference? Krishna says in the next shloka. Before that, he says, Manushanam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhaye yatatamapi siddhanam kaschit mam vetti tattvataha. So here, before he goes to that explanation of what I said just now, he says, among thousands of people, men and women, Manushanam Sahasreshu, Sahasra is thousand. It means infinite, many, many. So, among so many thousands of men and women, Kaschit Yatati Siddhaye, few strive for spiritual perfection, Siddhaye. They actually put an effort. And among them, uh, Yatatam Api Siddhanam Kaschit Ma Vetti Tattvataha. That means among them, there are so many people. Very few get inclined. Among those who get inclined, that he has not mentioned. So among them, there are few who actually attain spiritual perfection. That means they become jnani. Then among them, handful of kaschit, mam vetti tattvataha. Among these people who attain spiritual perfection, you may find thousands of sadhus who are engrossed in dhyana for hours together in the Himalayas, for years together. But all of them do not know me. Very few know me in reality. Know me means realize me, experience me. Very few. So the spiritual practice is not easy, as I told you. Why it happens, that he tells in the next shloka. But at this point of time, we all know that out of why he says that thousands of people, very few get inclined, because each one is born with a different samskara, isn't it? Each one is born with different samskara. Added to that, different genetic inheritance, environmental factors, and those samskaras are accumulated impressions on his subconscious mind, his reactions. Some feel like going beyond the worldly affairs. Some are still stuck there, assuming in ignorance that I am having everything to enjoy. I don't have to go beyond this. I don't have to think beyond this. There is no need. Some people are suffering, but the mind still does not go towards, finding the solution through spiritual practice or going towards the Lord, towards the God. They do not feel like, because they have not made an attempt in that direction. They were not graced enough to have company of holy people, company of, you know, other, just a minute. So, uh, so he says, very few. Why? Because we know that there is a difference between among people. We know sattvic, rajasic, tamasic, and various reasons. Because of various reasons, various impressions, their tendencies. Tamasika people are not willing to change. They are very. There is an inertia to change. Very stubborn. Um, so that will prevent them, and because they don't even know that such a system exists, so therefore they do not, even if there is suffering, what happens is people can become better or they can become bitter when they experience any kind of disappointments in life. If people look for some solace and think of changing themselves, thinking of adapting themselves, then they slowly move towards rajasic. They become active, they take initiative, they actually act on the problem. And then as they act, when they meet holy people and they understand that there is much more to life than what I'm experiencing, they start reading Bhagavad Gita or they start reading some spiritual texts, attend lectures, then they know that there's something beyond what I'm doing. So they come into Sattvic. And once they come to Sattvic, then they understand that unless, though I'm doing good job, I'm thinking good work, good thoughts, everything, unless I have a strong binding to God and offer Him, and I understand that everything is His, I am not the doer. Until we think in that way, even the sattvic person will keep coming again and again. But if he thinks of those, then he strives for this spiritual perfection. He becomes a siddhi. But understanding, Krishna says, understanding me in reality, experiencing me in reality is still higher goal. And that very few people will do. Very few people will do. So now you understand that the pull of this Maya or this worldly affair is so strong that very, very few people actually, are into that at given time, point of time. At any given point of time, very few are there. Very few, handful of people in the entire universe. Very few people, because of these reasons. Then he says, So then he says, and what is understanding him in reality, in totality? That comes in fourth and fifth. भूमिरापो नलो वायुः खं मनो बुद्धिरेव च अहङ्कार इति यं मे भिन्ना प्रकृतिरष्टधा अपरेयम् इतस्त्वन्यां प्रकृतिं विद्धि मे परां जीवभूता महाबाहो ययेदं धार्यते जगत्. So here it is the essence of Krishna. Who is he? In Sankhya Yoga, we say, who am I? We explore. Arjuna, you are the Parabrahman, Atman, he said. You have been, you were born in the, you have taken several births. So also I have come as Avatara Purusha in many births. Therefore, this is not the first time. He says, I have told this to Manu. Manu also knew this. Then Krishna asks, how did you tell you were not there? So he says, Bahu me vyatitani. So I have got so many janmas before. You also. So uh, that time he explained to him, who are you, Arjuna? Now Krishna is talking, understand me completely. Who am I? It's not me it's not just me who's standing before you explaining this Bhagavad Gita. Actually, in reality, who I am, you have to understand this. So he says, Bhumi, what is my nature? Bhumi, Apaha, Anila, Vayuho. That means earth, water, fire, air, space, and mind, intellect, ahankara, egoism. Thus, my Prakriti is eightfold. We have discussed this, but he keeps mentioning, and now he tells with complete clarity. This is my Prakriti. This is my nature. This is exactly the matter in the modern scientific terminology. So he says, I am my Prakriti, that means my nature. The Prakriti means it is the energy, Maya. If you remember in Bhagavad Purana, we discussed how everything was still, quiet thing. Even the modern cosmologists say it seems this universe came from a bundle. Everything, the potential was in the bundle. But they have failed to attribute that to the Parabrahman because that knowledge is not there, yet to come. But lot of studies are being done. So that was, nothing was there, from nothing. There, this person, that means nothing, the potential, the Parabrahman, he just makes a will. As soon as he makes that will, Mahat Tattva comes. Mahat Tattva has all the potential to differentiate and transform into different parts of this nature which we are seeing around. And from there came Ahankara. Ahankara there refers to the building ability, the energy. From Ahankara came, that is not mentioned here. I am filling in that gap which has come in Bhagavad Purana and it comes later also. From there arises earth, elements actually. It's not just Prithvi as such. These are the elements, they are the raw materials for the preparation of the entire nature that we are seeing now. So I evolved, my Prakriti came in this way. It divided into Bhumi, that is earth, Apaha means water, and fire, Analaha, and air, Vayuhu, and Kham is space. Along with that, he has put beautifully Manaha, Buddhihi, Ahankara. Manaha, Buddhihi, Ahankara. So all this is my Prakriti. My Prakriti, he says. My Prakriti, he says, Prakriti Ashtadha. Itiyam me Bhinna Prakriti Ashtaya. Bhinna means separate and eightfold. This is my eightfold Prakriti. You imagine anything around you, it's all derived from this. This body, let us start from the highest, highly evolved organism is we. We have space, we have air, we have elements, that is earth. Earth is what? Made up of chemical elements, isn't it? So we have all those chemical elements, and we have Vayu circulating. We have the fire because the, uh, energy, or what I should say, all the chemical reactions that are taking place in the body, you can equate with that. And then there is enough space, cellular, extracellular spaces we have. And of course we have the mind, we have the buddhi, we have ahankara. Mind is thinking part of, not brain, in the body. Now we have to be very clear, and even the scientists have told that mind is not located only to the brain. This aspect is becoming very popular and understood by different jnanis, are also propagating this thought. Mind need not be, it's not necessarily in the brain, it's there throughout the body. Manomaya kosha, if you remember. Mind, buddhi. Buddhi is intellect, which is above the mind, which tries to give discriminatory faculty. And ahankara. Ahankara is ego, is awareness of I. Ahankara is awareness of I. Awareness of this lower I. Awareness of Pratibha, Suvarchala, Padmini. That is ahankara. And there, before it came, there it was the energy. From that ahankara come all these elements, actually speaking. Ahankara is a formative energy in the larger sense. And part of that is our ahankara, which we have accumulated and all that. But main ahankara is from Mahatattva, it comes as ahankara, and then all these elements. So he is telling, these are all my eightfold prakriti. And bhinnaha ashtada, he says, you see all that. If you see, now this is human. If you see animals also, similar things are there. The same prakriti is there, the same earth, space, vayu, and plants. If you see animals, exactly like us, what they lack is the intellect, what they lack is the ahankara. They also have a mind. Higher animals can think like us. Chimpanzees do think like us. Rats do think. We did experiments on cognitive, behavior and psychology. All that we have done on rats, mice. We have done on not hamsters. We have done on monkeys, chimpanzees. All those are similar to us, not so evolved. Not so evolved. Plants also have this. And the table, the chair, the inanimate objects, don't they have? They also have the elements. Not everything, but they do have space. Isn't there space between the electrons? Isn't there space between the atoms? Don't they make a molecule with the space? Intermolecular spaces are there. So inanimate objects also, there is all these elements, but they lack the mind, buddhi, ahankara, as far as I know, because this comes as a higher for human being. They are not there. So bhinnaha, they are manifested differently in different objects around us. What differentiates is their combinations, their proportions of these combinations, in the way they are combined. So mind is there in human, mind is not there in the wood or in the cement or in the floor, it's not there. Elements are more in the ground, in the water. Some elements are there which are not there in us. So it's a combination. So he says this is the eightfold prakriti, and all this is considered to be my so bhumihi ahankara. Okay, now he brings one word. Apareyam itastvanyam prakritim vidhi me param jiva bhuta mahabaho yayedam dharyate jagat. Here is the entire spiritual keyword, core. He has brought it here. Now he says that this is the lower prakriti. I call it as apara prakriti. Apareyam iti stvanyam prakritim vidhi me param. Apart from this apara prakriti, this is a lower prakriti. There's one more prakriti I have. What is that? Prakritim vidhi me param, para prakriti. But different from it, no. Oh, mighty armed Arjuna, my higher prakriti, that is principle of intelligence or consciousness, Jiva Bhutam, Jiva Bhutam Mahabaho. This is the principle of consciousness. That means Sachidananda only, but he is using that word Jiva Bhutam, the principle of intelligence or consciousness. We are not talking about intellect, mind you. This is the intelligence of that Parabrahman. I'll explain to you. Today's topic is this only. By which Yayedam Dharyate Jagat. This consciousness, this intelligence holds the entire universe. This holds the entire universe. So, what are the two parts of Krishna? In reality, he is defining himself in two prakriti. Two. One is apara prakriti. Apara, he calls it inferior. Whatever we are seeing as the greatest manifestation around us, he calls it as apara prakriti. It has come from all this. This is my lower prakriti. What is a higher prakriti? Higher prakriti is that intelligence, that consciousness. In other words, Atman, Parabrahman, Parabrahma, Sachidananda, all that is this. It is nothing but the intelligence or consciousness, which is the pivot around this, around which the entire universe is rotating. In other words, entire universe is manifesting. That consciousness is one which is manifesting the Prakriti. So now you understand. I hope all of us are able to get this point. This whole world, all this creation, no, they are inert by themselves. If that para prakriti was not there, if that consciousness was not there, if that intelligence, higher intelligence, super intelligence, supreme intelligence was not there, none of this would have been manifested. That means these are only media which will reflect the Paraprakriti or the Parabrahman. Paraprakriti is nothing but Parabrahman. He, his intelligence is manifesting through this. And this gains the energy and the spirit only because of his presence. Only because of his presence. So he says, this is, even Gautam Buddha called it, it seems, that this world is loka and transcendental is lokottara. Transcendental is lokottara. Lokottara. So this has been, this is coming as a lot of publications, and even NIMHANS is establishing the Center for Consciousness Studies. Center for Consciousness Studies. What is this consciousness? In other words, we are using this word for Parabrahman only. What is this? How does it work? So whole world is, I am reading a few important statements of Swami Ranganathananji, because I cannot, tell in my own words, it would lose that meaning. So he says it's dead matter. The entire world is dull matter, from starry system up to a lump of clay. Everything is dead. Once Jiva, and Jiva is there in them, but which is not manifested. Once the cosmic evolution starts into organic evolution, he says. Organic means somewhere it starts showing life force. Then the divinity is more. So this table also has divinity. It is there in me also. But I am able to manifest in a better way, because this body has organically evolved in a better way. Don't you think the non-living and living, if you just compare, living beings are more evolved structurally. Exactly, he uses. There are two worlds, so from in fact, he says, when the jiva starts manifesting, when the prakriti, that's part of prakriti, plant, animal, or human being, because we are more evolved organically, so we are able to express that consciousness. But it is there everywhere. It is there in this table, it's there in this pen, it's there in the laptop, everywhere. But manifestation means others can appreciate. It is more in full vigor. That comes when, this is a very beautiful statement. More organically we are evolved, more is the divine manifestation. Please underline, more organically we are evolved. So he says, when there was a single cell, less expression. When it starts multiplying, when it starts, even human beings also, when let's equate that to a stem cell. If there's a stem cell, precursor cell, nothing is there, it's just quiet. Once it starts multiplying, differentiating into different, more divine manifestation, because that intelligence, the backup controls the expression and functionality of that cell. In fact, one more example Swami Vivekananda has given. Let us imagine there is a train coming from far off distance, and there is a worm on the railway track, and there's also a stone, worm and a stone. The minute the worm feels the vibrations, immediately it comes down off the track. But the stone cannot come because the stone is not so evolved. It is inert also, it's not evolved. Obviously, it's not evolved. Whereas this worm has evolved itself to protect. So the functionality is the consciousness. Whatever so I have kind of thought this way. Maybe you can add on to this if you want to. So the anatomically, the structurally, whatever we have, it doesn't function without the consciousness. Physiological part, the circulation, nerve conduction, the brain thinking, neuronal conduction, movements, all these physiological systems, indeed they are because of the presence of that consciousness, not presence, manifesting. That is the word we are using now. Manifestation of that para prakriti. Let's use that in this entire chapter. The same para Brahman is Krishna is using a word. Now that is my prakriti. That's my nature. Why he is using para prakriti is to make us understand that this is my lower, this is my higher, but both are me. Both are from me. That means this is Maya, but me. Higher one is in a different way it's performing. Our Swamiji told something. This consciousness, para prakriti, cannot function without apara prakriti. It needs apara prakriti to function because where will it manifest itself? It needs some medium, and that is apara prakriti. And apara prakriti doesn't have existence of its own. It needs the consciousness or intelligence to guide. It will function only when this one starts manifesting. Manifestation is nothing but endowment of a function. So beautiful is our creation. So we are having two worlds for ourselves. One is this external world which we are talking, speaking, moving, everything. And we assume in our entire life, and we break heads and we lose so much of time crying, being angry, everything, assuming that this is real. No, this is not real. This is because of something beyond. So go within and understand where are we. So what happens is when we start thinking like this, no, this he says is evolution. Swami Ranganathan is beautiful. Please buy this book for this chapter at least. So he says this is our evolution. Making our when we go within, as I said, evolution from tamasic to rajasic, rajasic to sattvic, sattvic and beyond. So when we evolve like this, what happens is that evolution it triggers the expression of the consciousness. More we think about these higher things, what is happening? There's something beyond. I must become more pure. Let me follow Bhagavad Gita. Let me not react for every situation. Let me be more inclusive. Let me be in harmony, give and take. Let me not break my head. All these will make us mind purified, and that purification is evolution. Just like a single cell multiplied, no, into what I should say, from embryo, it became a human body. Our development, mental evolution is as it's exactly the same thing. Our mind becoming pure is an evolution. When we evolve, he manifests. If you remember in Bhagavad Purana, we say divine grace. That today this chapter says this itself, this is only divine grace. He manifests more. I mean, it is programmed so well that you evolve, I become more manifest. You evolve, I become more manifest. So we have already evolved physically as human being. We have two hands, blood circulation, heart pumping, everything is in place. What more needs to be done in terms of evolution is our thinking, our inquisitiveness, our exploration about who we truly are. Who am I? So that exploration we start with any of these yogas. More and more we go, we put our efforts, more and more is a manifestation, is his creation. This is exactly he's telling that we must answer all the problems which are there within, and that is how the evolution starts. And very beautifully he says that yayedam dharyate jagat. So don't you think when our own body, our own systems, we say they are dependent on the intelligence or consciousness which is within. See, he says entire universe, everything, including the, the energy that goes in, there's planets or atomic or protons and electrons are in movement everywhere. That energy is his, but those are lower energies. Those are lower energies. As it becomes more and more evolved organically, like how we are, then it starts. So, dharayate jagat means, if you see the entire universe of human interactions, if our universe is what? Human interactions. And of course, interactions with the plants, animals, and everything. Everything is dependent. Yayedam dharyate jagat. Yayedam. So this consciousness, Jiva Bhutam, Mahabaho is Arjuna, Yayedam Dharyate Jagat, Dharyate Jagat, this consciousness, this me means this intelligence, this consciousness is holding the universe entirely. It is dependent on this. But I am not this, and Prakriti is not affected by anything. It is only manifesting. More you grow, more I manifest. Whichever way you grow, I will manifest more. In fact, there is one more. So this is how it functions. And so therefore, we must understand that one more thing. The explanation given is apara is inert. Apara jagat is inert. As I told, on its own, it has no ability to function. It only functions under the influence of this consciousness, which will reflect. It will reflect means it will expression, manifestation it is called. So that manifestation will set it into motion. That manifestation sets the entire process into manifestation. So this is also called as chitta. So previously also we have seen this para, don't get confused that para is also called as chit, it seems. And even Shankaracharya, Swami Shankaracharya also has described very beautifully, it seems, that human being is described in Vedanta as chit jada granthi. Now you understand. How is this body made? So beautiful. No, we have not understood. We have not gone beyond our physiology, pharmacology, pathology, and all that. So basically, we are made of chit jada granthi. Chit is that para prakriti. That is the consciousness. Jada is this prakriti. That means anatomy, structure. Granthi means it's a bundle. It's a bundle of chitta and jada. Chitta and jada. Chitta, because they've used that word because it is intelligence. It's high intelligence, highest intelligence, supreme intelligence. So this body is described as chitta jada granthi. Chitta jada granthi. And real progress is there when chitta becomes more and this is very, very important. Now our effort should be that this chitta should overrule the jada. We are submerged in our ignorance so much that jada is taking care, is overpowering the chitta. They say jada, that means this prakriti. I hope you are all able to understand. Jada means our swabhava. This swabhava is so prominent. We are expressing this swabhava only so much without putting an effort to evolve. If we evolve and go inside, then that chitta, divine, will be manifesting more and more, and you can control the lower energy. You can control. So far we have discussed, let me repeat, that this body, let us take ourselves. This body is made up of this gross body, which is Prakriti, with the mind, Buddhi, and Ahankar. With the mind, Ahankara, let's assume that it is a bundle of our tendencies, subconscious. Entire activity is happening in this part of the body only. We yield to our mind, we yield to our Buddhi, we yield to our Ahankara, and we do the actions and all. We have not explored the role of conscious, or we have not peeped inside and tapped that chitta, which is very much existing. Because all this we are able to do because of the chitta only. But it has given you the buddhi. I will support you. Do whatever you want. But if we go inside and then start thinking how I should behave, how should I do, then slowly some light starts. Read Bhagavad Gita. Somewhere something comes. You open the Bhagavad Gita. Learn more. Little more you explore. How should I go further? One more explanation comes. Little more you go. Like that, what happens is slowly now, chitta has started taking over your jada, your tendencies, your mind, your buddhi. This is how the human evolution ideally has to progress. But what happens generally is we never go within. So chitta is lying in slumber. No awakening of that chitta. Everything, whatever is happening, is in this outer world, and therefore there is suffering without any wisdom. Where is the question of wisdom if we don't tap that chitta? That chitta has to be tapped with this prakriti only, with this jadatva only. Just awaken that buddhi, free will, go inside, and then the chitta will, the para prakriti will overpower, and it will start dictating terms in the rightmost direction, and that becomes your spiritual siddhi, yoga siddha, he says. And then from there we go to um, the highest this thing, vijnani. We become vijnani, experiencing that bhakti. So it's a great journey altogether. It's a great journey which one has to actually practice. But this is how he says the reality. So um, that is how he says, this is my reality. Para prakriti, apara prakriti. Para is jada, apara is jada, and para is a chitta. Chitta, jada, granthi. Chitta, jada, granthi. So therefore, we should try to make progress and make chitta more and more prominent, so that this jada becomes our servant. And as I said, if we read, I think, I forgot the author again, Atomic Habits, I said, Shanaihi Uparamet. Krishna says, one step at a time, slowly. But this is very fascinating. And one more I would like to mention here, that there's one person called, I don't mind taking this, Ravi Nair. On LinkedIn, he posted something very brilliant. ABC says, so whenever you start putting efforts in a new direction, no? First you affirm. The affirm means manifesting. Nowadays people say visualizing. You want to discipline, you want some discipline in life. You want to get up early, you want to go for a walk, you want to meditate. So you start believing that you are going to do it. So first is affirmation. Write that up. Tomorrow, every day I'm going to get up at 5:30 and do meditation. So first is affirmation. And then second is belief. Second is, yes, I am going to do it. Get up at 6 o'clock. Yes, I am going to do it. Believe that. Third one is confirmation. ABC says. Confirmation is that whenever you get up, no, maybe first 2 days you don't. Third day you get up. First day you may get up. Second day you may not. Third day again you get up. Okay, in 3 days I have got up twice. That's a good thing. 2 out of 3 is a good score. Pat your back and continue the journey. So like that, this is nothing but controlling the jada or the lower prakriti. What am I doing now? I am putting my free will and I am evolving. And more you evolve, consciousness will be manifested more. So, and this in the local, in the worldly words, I have put this ABC or manifesting or visualizing. So this is our development. This is our organic development, mental development. All evolution is now related to mental evolution. More you evolve, more he manifests, more the consciousness starts manifesting. So this is what he's saying. Even if we don't call him as God or whatever, whether we accept it or not, if we start experimenting, actually, Vijnana is not experimenting here, it's experiencing. But even if we experiment, we are 100% sure that we will experience some growth, some expression, some kind of change in our personality. So that is a validation to whatever he has told. Now, sixth one, he says, I think after that we'll stop. Etat yonini bhutani sarvani ityupadharaya aham pritsnasya jagatah prabhava pralayastatha. Now he says, know that these prakritis are the womb of all beings. Yoni means womb. So please understand, all the things in the world are the product of these two sources. Isn't it? Every article you see, there is both. There is para prakriti, there is apara prakriti. But manifestation of para is not there. It's only jada. It's manifestation of jada. If you take me, I have got both. I am manifesting the para prakriti also. You are also manifesting. So the non-living things are less manifesting Paraprakriti. So he says all are products of these two sources. Etat yonini bhutani sarvani iti upadharaya, and aham krishnasya jagatah prabhavah pralayasthatha. So Shankaracharya says Prakriti Dvaya Dvarena Aham Sarvajnaha Ishvara Jagatah Karanam. I, the all-knowing Lord, am the cause of this universe through twofold nature. So when we become in Advaita philosophy, I am Aham Brahmasmi. So he says that way. Anyway, at this point of time, we understand that consciousness is intelligence or Parabrahman or Paraprakriti. And lower Prakriti is eightfold, consisting of all this physical matter plus the mind, buddhi, ankara, which are also considered as matter only. And they themselves are inert only when the consciousness, because of the consciousness, they manifest. Because of consciousness in our body, the mind thinks. Because of the consciousness, my heart pumps. Because of consciousness, I'm able to speak, right? So more and more we evolve, more and more we come out of this ordinary nature. The chit will start manifesting, chit or paraprakriti will start manifesting. So remaining chapters, I think, remaining shlokas, we will take up in the next class. So any queries or any additions? Now this opens up beautiful opportunity for us, that we need to evolve on a regular basis. There has to be one step taken, and which already we are doing, but we may accelerate this so that more and more consciousness will start manifesting in us. And who knows, it may trigger others also, so that they also start manifesting. I'll end with one very important statement by Sri Ramakrishna. Every individual will have divinity and devility in him. So it depends on what we trigger in the other person also. So if we speak well, if we are pure, if we are soft spoken, and try to go with coherence, then the divinity in him automatically gets manifested, it seems, because his mind will start thinking that way. So here we are, by controlling our behavior, we manifest that consciousness in ourselves. We also manifest the same consciousness in the other person, and that makes the universe so beautiful. But as I said, somebody has to take the first step. And since we are in this process of evolution, I think we should take the first step. That's for today. Any additions or your thoughts on this? Yes, please open up. Jayachandra, anything?
Only this comparing the nature and consciousness is slightly bit difficult to understand.
Difficult to understand. Okay. Shall I simplify for you?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So Prakriti or nature is matter. Sorry. 1 second. Yeah. So Jayachandra, actually it's like this. If you have a how can I compare? Okay, these elements now in the matter, they don't perform anything. You need something to work. Let us say we to as soon as we get up, can we be without taking any food or something gives us energy, something gives us energy. We get up in the morning, we have our breakfast, then only our work starts. Maybe we do some exercise or something, then we eat. Why do we eat? So that that food will help us to perform throughout the day. Exactly in a similar way, this consciousness is working like that food. But unlike food is inert, unlike food, but food will have proteins, carbohydrates, and all. It will guide. Similar to that, this consciousness. I don't know whether I'm giving the right example, but the consciousness also it guides this body. Consciousness is like a food, you can say. In simpler terms, it's like a food. It is already there. So how the body is functioning, or how this entire nature is functioning, let's take our body. That consciousness is within, that shakti is, para prakriti is within. So that is giving guidance through its it shines or it reflects. That's how, that is its property. So because of that, this body will start performing. Just like the food gives energy for you to perform, food alone has no value. No, it has its value only when you eat and you work. Like that, this consciousness also cannot do anything without the lower prakriti which it has made. So let's take this body as its prakriti. It will guide the body, and it will guide the blood flow, respiration, everything, all the functionality it will guide, but something will perform. So it only has created one machine, it has created one intelligence, it has created. That intelligence will manifest, or it will push this machine called body into action. This is nature. Prakriti is this. Similar thing happens in plants. Similar thing happens in animal. Similar thing happens in the this one matter also. Galaxies everywhere. That energy, whatever it is holding, no, the planets in place or everything, that is because of the consciousness. I hope.
Yeah. So it's just nature is interrelated with the consciousness, or can I say consciousness is ultimate?
Consciousness is ultimate, but to run the show, it needs the prakriti.
Yes.
I mean, it cannot perform anything. It is just like that. It is a bundle of intelligence which needs some media now to express. Isn't it? That is the nature.
Okay, because
They're
the word,
complementing.
the word inferior just made me missed out of the track. That's why.
Inferior means in terms of intelligence. In terms of intelligence, it has nothing. In a way, you cannot call consciousness as inferior because it is the originator. From there it started. So
No, he said
therefore,
nature and other thing, prakriti is inferior than the consciousness.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Therefore, this becomes a illusory world. It's actually not. It's not false. I don't call Maya as a nothing is illusion, and it's correct. But it is a lower prakriti only. Though we call it illusory, world, we cannot ignore the worldly affairs. We cannot ignore the relationships. We cannot ignore the anger. We cannot ignore the fights and all. It's all happening. It's all Maya. It's not, the pure consciousness is not part of that. I mean, it's part in terms of energy, but it manifests more wherever there is a growth.
Got it. Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
Anybody else? I hope it was clear. I tried to make it. Anybody else has doubts? No? Peter, your thoughts?
No, I did not catch the word between chitta and granti.
Granti. Okay.
No, I know what granti is, but you said chitta, jada, granti?
Granti, yeah. Chitta, jada, granti means it's a baggage, you can say. It's a baggage of chitta and jada. We are all combinations of chitta and jada. We are combinations of chitta. Chitta is nothing but consciousness. Jada is nothing but this nature, this body without that consciousness. As I said, Prakriti is unable to perform anything on its own unless it is coupled with the consciousness. Consciousness shines through the Prakriti. So that consciousness is nothing but Chitta, and this Jada is Prakriti. Another word used for Prakriti.
Okay.
Chitta is another word used for Para Prakriti or consciousness or Brahman. That is a word used in Vedanta, they say. So it's nothing but same thing explained in. We are a baggage of these two. These two are going together. One is shining, is trying to manifest, and other one is just receiving that and performing. So this is how we must understand Krishna, he says. That is his nature. So Krishna puts us to a lot of, thought-provoking shlokas. We really have to, get into that and understand. So this is little complex in this chapter. But having understood that, we can, guide our own actions. We can we can be conscious of our own actions. We have to evolve more, become more pure, so that more divinity is manifested. Anybody
Thank you.
else? Yeah, welcome. Anybody else?
Ma'am,
Sochla, yeah.
yeah, in Karma Yoga also, I think in 27th shloka, same, it relates, I feel, ma'am. Prakrute kriyamanani gunaihi karmani
Mani
sarvasha.
Ah.
There also, you said about, the order, like how to reach
Ah.
the Supreme Soul.
Correct.
In that also it has explained about the prakriti and what are the combinations of prakriti.
Yeah.
So here, there you said prakriti means you can take it as God.
No. God only, correct. Prakriti is God only, God's creation only. You're right. See, here also, no, the lower one also is Him only. He says, these are my two Prakritis. One is higher, one is a guide. Always whenever a student and guide are there, whom will you take? Guide is superior, no? Like that, he is taking himself, that consciousness. There are two aspects of himself. One is a lower Prakriti, one is a higher Prakriti. Both are me only. Both are me. But try to manifest the higher Prakriti, he says. So, in that chapter, the context was, God only. Prakriti kriyamanani guna karmani sarvasha. That means, according to your guna, this Prakriti is designed in such a way that according to your guna you perform. According to sattvika guna, some actions. Tamasic guna, this one. And your swabhava. It is automated. But everybody feels, I am doing. So that hankara vimudatma kartaham iti manyate means he thinks he is the doer, but actually it's according to Prakriti. It means to say, human being must understand that he is performing in a programmed auto. It's not, he should not become proud and say, I am doing this. No, it is your Prakriti. Because of your Purva Samskar, your tendencies, your body is acting. Unless he comes back, introspects, goes into his, inner this thing, only then he will start using that. Chitta will start. That's how it is. Otherwise, majority of the people are behaving based on their previous actions. They will take something, according to that they will think of something. So body has impressions. So he keeps acting like that. So there is no, you should not feel that it is you or somebody who has designed this. No, it is Prakriti. You should not feel I am the doer. It is Prakriti. Prakriti means now, according to him, you can say it's he's the doer, no, because he has designed it like that.
Okay.
Prakriti means automatically, unless a person becomes aware, he becomes aware of that consciousness within Satchidananda and starts acting. Until then, it is all Prakriti. Then also he will say, I am not the doer. So there is no question of we as a lower individuals taking a claim for our actions. That was described there. Here he is describing the phenomenon of existence, the phenomenon of functioning of our body, functioning of the universe. That is explaining in this. That there are two components, both are me only. Understand me in reality means this is Prakriti, lower one, this is higher one. But do not get stuck in the lower one. Whatever you are doing is also my manifestation. But do not get stuck there. Come and reach me and let the consciousness take over and guide. So the consciousness should rule over the lower ones. That comes when we start evolving, when we start becoming purer, when we start developing. Maybe I think I should repeat this in the next session.
No, I think